I think I switched it over to Twitch. Yes, I did. We're live on Twitch. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the night of November 10th, 2021. I almost said November 30th. I don't know why I did that. November 10th, 2021. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfield, and I am joined by.
Joey, aka It's Radlor.
Chris is still out of town, but theoretically she'll be back next week, possibly, maybe. She's supposed to be thinking about scheduling her trip back home this week, later this week, so we'll see if she's home. But in the meantime, we've been plugging ahead on all things Weave and the Void. If this is your first time tuning in here on Twitch, don't forget that we do the stand-ups slash brainstorming sessions every Wednesday night at around 8:30, in between 8:30 and 9 p.m. Central Time, depending on what time he gets home and situated. And we typically will talk for a few minutes, 15, 20 minutes sometimes, about all the things we're working on, whether it's the point and click adventure game, the tabletop stuff, or the books, any concept art that Chris is working on, and so on and so forth. Um, we also are doing a lot of things now that we've got all the new channels up and going. So if you're not watching this on Twitch and you're watching it on YouTube after the fact, in either case, make sure to follow and or subscribe, hit the bell icon, do all the things you're supposed to do depending on where you're watching this to follow along and get updates for all the other stuff we're doing. And don't forget to join the Discord. All the links are below no matter where you're at. Let's dive in. Um, Last week was a brainstorming session because we were laying out the rest of Marin's Rest for the point and click adventure game. Um, but what's interesting that a lot of people don't know is we hadn't actually, and we still haven't technically set where the where Marin's Rest is. We only know that it's near Forkland somewhere, and I think we said it's to the north because I think we said as you head south out of Marin's Rest, we were eventually the original plan was we were going to have you go south and go to Forkland, and then we decided what's the point of doing a city if it's the last thing you see and you're not actually doing an adventure in the city. There's kind of no point in developing those assets and building that zone out. We could just make that the sequel. But knowing that that's kind of the rough place where this is located, for those of you who paid attention to the playtesting we did for the Escape from Parthana module back in, I guess that was late. Was that late July? I know it was August, September, but I can't remember if we started in
Yeah,
August or if we started
I
in
think
late
it was.
July.
I think we started in August.
I think we did too. So that's where the adventuring party started out and took their ship from Forkland to Parthana. So we're in the same area where it all took place. And tying this all back in is that when I was working on part four of that module, um, was that yesterday or the day before? I forget when I sent you that text message. I think I shared it here in the Discord too. But I was working on part four and I snuck in a
Some
little thing,
stuff.
which wasn't in the playtesting. That was because I'm now sitting down and actually writing the module itself based off of my original notes and the things we did with the playtest group. I'm also able to flesh out more stuff with lore and juicy tidbits and so on and so forth. So
Hmm.
um, I threw that in there where Thanon is sending excess ore back to Corbin. And oh, by the way, Corbin was one of his past students, which I thought was kind of fun. It was just, I was literally there writing it. I was like, I'm totally going to just throw this in here. That's a little
I thought it was
paragraph. Yeah, it's a paragraph of lore. Because also, when you're there in the town, we already have that Easter egg in the point and click game where in the
cool.
tavern, that Goatkin head on the wall was slain by none other than Thanon Rockguard, and his axe is on the wall above the head. So it all comes full circle, ladies and gentlemen. And in the book, they will end up in Marin's Rest as well. The adventuring party at some point in part two, once they leave. And I think I hadn't decided this until I was sneaking things into the module the other day. I think I'm just gonna make Marin's Rest the village where everything starts off. Now, where the youngster is
Mm.
found. Now it's
Yeah,
not going to be the
yeah.
exact same timeline because um, in the point and click adventure game, Than and Rockguard has already been there because the Goatkin head is on the wall. Um, so I'm gonna have to do some thinking around with timelines and stuff. We'll have to think about that a little bit more to
Yeah.
decide how we want to play that out. But I like the fact of putting them all in the same place. That way, Marin's Rest is something that's recognized by anybody, no matter if they've played the tabletop, read the books, or had the point and click adventure game. It's a location, just like Parthana. Everyone's gonna know it. So that's what I've been working on the past few days was um, all the module stuff. I need to start drafting chapter 10 because that needs to go out next Thursday. So I'll probably write that if not Friday, Saturday, then Saturday and Sunday. I'll be getting chapter 10 worked out for next week. And I think chapter 10 is the end of part 1 of the book, and then the next chapter is when we'll introduce our new character. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually had an idea the other day, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not because it's not in our original notes. But I was watching that
Well, we
show.
can't change anything.
Well, hang on, hang on. I was watching the that show that I mentioned to you the other day. It's called Arcane, and it's based on the League of
Uh,
Legends stuff. Um, and I don't know anything about their game, but I was watching that show, and it's two sisters. One is older and one is younger, and there's some really intense stuff that happens during the first 3 episodes, and I already can see where they're going with the next 3 episodes, and I went, I don't know if I want to do this yet or not because two things. One, we've never established what is the sex of the main character. We never said if it was a boy or a girl. We just said it was going to be a young person.
true.
And then I was like, what if I made them siblings? What if I made them twins? What if I did? And I don't know. I had all sorts of crazy ideas going through my head because then that
Uh,
adds another dynamic. I'm not going to lie, this is a spoiler for anybody who's watching because that adds the opportunity to kill off one of the twins potentially,
ooh,
which causes a massive. This is when you have the dark side come in and affect the young individual because that's already in the notes. There is a series of events that happen which are good in terms of storyline. Those of you who
right.
are Patreon subscribers, if you subscribe to the Patreon, you'll see this in the outline notes if you go back and read through the outline notes because these are all published on Patreon. There is a series of events that happen which make our young heroes start to go to the dark side, which this is every good story needs a moment of crisis. Um, Multiple moments of crises is better to manipulate the story and the emotions of the readers and keep them hooked for the next act. And then I was sitting here looking at it going, yeah, but I could make that pull to the dark side even stronger if I have a sibling that's there and then the sibling gets whacked by the
Mm,
inquisitors and then that creates this. I'm gonna go off on it. It's no different than in Attack of yeah, the second is Attack of the Clones, right? Why am I blanking on the name of that movie? Um,
yeah, it's Necrophone too.
yeah, so when his mom dies and he just goes
Ooh,
crazy and
Shmi.
and kills all of the sand people, and then he comes back to Padme and he's like, I killed them
Women
all, women,
and the
children.
children.
Like he just loses himself, and I was like, oh my god, I could totally do that if I have a sibling. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet, but I totally had the idea when I was watching that show and was thinking about other stories where they've done that. It is somewhat of a trope, but it's also something that's easy to work with, and it would be fun to create a dual character. Um, who is that's why I like the idea of twins, but it also works to have an older and a younger sibling, um, and
That works with close family members, period. Because like Game of Thrones kind of had that where with Arya, because she watches her dad get beheaded, and she's totally like out for revenge. Like she wants to kill everybody
have you
that
read
had
the
anything to
books?
do. One, two, and three. I have not read past three.
Okay, because that was one of the storylines they didn't have in the show, which was the mom gets her throat slit at the red wedding, but she
Yep.
doesn't actually die. But she comes back as like a just.
Spoiler alert. Gosh,
Well, I can't remember if it's in book 3 or whatever. Um, she
I
isn't.
can't remember
She
either.
is not a main character after that point, but she does come back. only she comes back as this like vengeful, can't talk because her throat's been slit, and she has no soul anymore. She's just a vengeful spirit type situation, and that's all she cares about is revenge. Um,
Killing people. Yeah, yeah, because her son gets murdered and
yeah,
at
yeah,
his wedding, and
yeah,
that's red wedding is fucked up. I
yeah.
mean,
So
like,
I don't know. I played around with some ideas because I'm getting to the point where in December I'm going to be starting to write that next section, and I may be making some modifications. I don't know. We'll play around with it.
I
Chris is going
dig
to
it.
have her work cut out for her when she gets back because I've already published 4
Hey,
chapters. She was only supposed to
none
be
of the
gone.
rest of us. Yeah, none of the rest of us got 3 week
I
vacation. I
know.
don't know.
So she's going to have a month at this point. So she's going to have 4 chapters that she's got to do artwork for when she gets back. So she'll be,
She'll be hungry. She'll be hungry to do it.
yeah, I think so. So anyway, that's my short version of what I've been working on the past few days, and what I'm looking on working on for the next few days is the book chapter and some storyline stuff. Where are you at?
Oh, nowhere. Um, so Sunday night we did the first meetup for
Oh yeah,
the Mines of Fendelver. We stayed up entirely too late, but that
yeah,
was
we
fun.
did.
So my brain has been on tabletop and miniature type stuff because we plan on sending those guys some miniatures. So I've been like watching some more painting videos. Yeah, because we want them to be good. And I mean, I'm a fair painter, but want them to be good. So watch the videos on that. Been thinking about layout. I haven't started on anything as far as blocking out the next. Um, I think I am gonna just do the sheriff's house and the tree next. I think that's makes sense to just go ahead and do things
Logically, maybe
linear.
just do like the bottom half of the map first, and then work your way
Yeah,
up.
work way up, or however. I guess it depends on how the story's gonna go, because
Well,
then
if
we can be
if
testing it as we go.
yeah, that's gonna depend on the player to some degree because we've given them the main quest
Yeah,
to find the
it's true.
hermit, but if they go meet the sheriff and the sheriff has a side quest that's like go over here and talk to the, you know, go to the forest, for example, then we'll need to
Yeah.
actually design the stables and then the corridor to
Mhm.
the forest and the forest. So you and I will probably need to think about that. But at the very least, the sheriff's place gives you a starting point.
That,
Um,
and then I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm watching some other videos on how other guys do it on how I want to do my recordings, because I'd kind of like to start that as we talked about that as
hmm
I'm
Yeah,
doing
plan
the
it all
rest
out
of the.
before you start now.
So I don't know, because I have no experience doing that, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do that. So hopefully by the end of this week I'll get started on that. And
OBS is your starting point. Well,
yeah, yep. And I'll have to keep my office clean so people don't see all my clutter.
you don't have to show yourself as the thing. You can if you want to, but a lot of people don't even bother recording themselves. They just do a voiceover. Like Nathan
Oh,
Napalm almost
perfect.
never shows himself
Oh,
in his
that's it. That's a good
videos.
point. That is a good point.
He just shows
It's
what
just
he's
the
doing.
voice.
And if you look at a lot of these dev videos, they're just doing the overview. They're doing what they're doing, but they're not actually showing their face. They're doing
That's a good point.
so
See, a lot of the guys I watch, they've got you know, their dude down here.
you
Well,
can if you
themselves.
want. Like it's
Yeah.
totally up to you. It's totally optional.
So, anyways, yeah, mine's just been planning and thinking about things, and then
Sure.
I'll divide and conquer before too long, because got my work cut out. But we do have a lot of tabletop stuff coming up, so that's exciting. Um,
Yeah,
I guess
speaking of that,
that's.
because once you we just ordered maps. That was something. This ties into that
Oh yeah.
because after talking to Bounty Code and he and Sparrow ordered those, it's cheap material,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna put that back here. So I ordered I think if I'm not mistaken, they are 6 foot by 4 foot tapestries. So I'll put one of those behind here. I'll probably just hang it on this thing because I can't really. This is concrete, so I can't nail it to the wall or anything.
Need some concrete screws.
I'm
Pre-drill
not.
it.
Yeah, no. The guy downstairs who just moved in, by the way, He moved in about a month ago, and he has been periodically doing that. He's been hanging stuff on the wall, and he comes in here with a concrete drill, and for like 30 minutes, he's drilling holes in the concrete, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Um, Probably just hang it here. But anyway, we got those. Now those are gonna take a while to arrive because they're custom order, and it said 2 to 3 weeks before they'll even ship. So it's not supposed to ship until Thanksgiving. So we probably won't even do that until the 1st of December. But the idea is that you're gonna be shipping one map to me with like around 75% of the miniatures that we have, which I think we have about 130, 140,
I'd have to count because we bought 103. Yeah, I mean we've got
and we've had like 50 in that other pack. So,
yeah. I
um,
mean a bunch because
and I,
I'm only gonna keep the ones to ship to the guys here in the U.S. and then like a handful that I just want to paint myself.
yeah,
I just flat don't have the time to paint, so
no, that'll
they're
be a Chris and I thing.
gonna all gonna go to you just because
And I'm
priorities.
hoping it doesn't look like it will because she already told me that no, probably not because she's bringing Christmas presents with her. But I asked Melissa about my boxes because I have a whole bunch more miniatures in there, but I doubt she's bringing those.
You know, a whole van or a pickup truck, that's not enough space, you know.
Yeah. Plus, those are all the pewter miniatures. I don't know that I want to ship those. That'll be a fortune in shipping fees.
Right, that's the thing. Like, like these ones I've got up here. Like, I should weigh these, dude. Like, I should go put this on the scale and weigh this little pewter dude versus like this 3D printed one because it's astronomical.
Oh yeah, the pewter ones are massive in terms of size.
It's
So
heavy.
once that all gets shipped down here, the plan, which I talked about it somewhere, I don't remember where, we will be opening an Etsy store next year for the everything,
Mhm.
which will correspond with everything that's going to be coming out in the early part of 2022 because we're going to be launching the source book, probably the first campaign module. Um, the book is different because the book is going to only ever be through Patreon until it's finished. And if I'm doing 2 chapters a month and there's 50 chapters, we're looking at, a good 2 years for that book to be entirely completed, which is fine. That's just, it is what it is. That's how long it's going to take. Because I'm not writing it like a traditional book where I'm sitting here banging out the chapters over a 3 to 4 month span, trying to get it done and as quick as quick as possible. That's a in between all of the other things that I'm doing, I'm working on chapter work because I'm also working on the source book and the campaign module. I got
Mhm.
to do writing for the game. I'm doing all the description text for the game. I'm doing all the marketing. I'm doing all the video production, all the social media, all the newsletters. It's like there's only so much time in a day because this is not our main gig. This is something we do in our spare time. So
Could be
it
our
is
main
what it
gig
is. Could be
for
our main gig if all of you
12,
folks,
12 low payments of $100 a month
all you
from all of you.
all of you folks go subscribe over to the Patreon for as little as $3 a month, we could end up having this be a full time gig at some point. So pony up, ladies and gents. Um, so I think we've got a good wrap on. It sounds to me like November is because we're already midway through the month, and at some point we are going to have the holiday coming up here in a couple of weeks. But the rest of this month is just going to be continuing to prep and plan, like you said, because you're going to be doing dev videos. So can you explain what your idea is behind those? Because I don't know that we've talked about that completely with these people yet.
So my rough plan, we'll just have to see how it works because things not always go to plan. I would
Totally
like to
just realized
do.
that I have a.
Oh, that's professional. Yeah.
Chris isn't
Please
he- Chris,
subscribe. We need a
Chris
new
is
shirt.
yeah, Chris isn't here to tell me not to wear ratty sweaters on stream. Sorry.
Oh, it's awesome. Um, I'd probably because my internet is sometimes not the best, so I'd probably what I will do is do like three pre-recorded videos. Excuse me. Explaining, you know, and I'd like to try to keep them to like 10 minutes. Explaining what I'm doing based on the packs that we're working with, and the whole project is housed within an entire toolkit, and so it's going to be heavily focused around how to build it with. in that scope, because there's not a lot of information out there. So I think it'll be helpful for the community as well as interesting for anyone else who's interested in maybe picking that toolkit up. So my plan is to do like three, so like one a week or something, and then do, or I don't remember what we talked about. Not
I
one a
think we
week.
said like I think we said yeah, I think we said like one a week because the idea and,
That
and
was
this I think
I was gonna.
so.
I just remember I was gonna stream the fourth one and do like a recap.
Yeah, I think what we planned is that we're gonna try to do one a week,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the month or whenever it happens, like every
Right.
fourth one will be a live stream, kind of doing a
Just
recap. But the
just a
the
recap.
idea
Yeah.
the idea here is that you'll do one a week because that gives us one thing a week we can publish on the YouTube, and
Hmm.
that's going to be on top of the book chapter. Well, the book chapters aren't going to last very long. That's only going to be next week, and then we're done. So it's going to be the stand up and your dev stream. That'll be two things. And then once Chris and I start painting miniatures, but that's not going to start until probably maybe after the holidays because that depends on when we get things shipped. We might start them over the holidays. I don't know. But in any case, I envision on the YouTube there will be this video every Friday, and then at some point you'll be doing a dev video, and then we'll have a painting video. Um, and that's it. Now, something else to think about is our TikTok. Everybody needs to go subscribe to our TikTok as well, because we're going to be doing things on TikTok that we don't necessarily do anywhere else, because we can do these 3-minute dev updates um, over on TikTok, as well as the traditional 15-second clips, which will be recycling for Instagram Reels as well as Facebook Stories and YouTube Shorts when we get access to them. But make sure you follow
There's
all the
definitely
social. Yeah,
there's
follow all the
definitely gonna be some
social.
mini painting coming up in the
Yeah, a lot of
future.
miniature painting to tie into
Because
the.
I've got four that I've got to do, and I'd like to get them banged out of the way
Well,
so
what
that I
you ought
can.
to do with those, FYI, because we need to get the TikTok, the series that you did when you were doing the Game Boy, the most recent Game Boy, where you
Hmm.
did like 8 episodes. That's what you need to do for the miniatures, because that's what the Cave of Crafting guy does
Yeah. Yeah.
is he talks about what he's doing. By the way, have you checked out, not to sidetrack, have you checked out his new videos?
No.
Because he redid his
No.
studio and now
I've
it's like
not.
all black painted and he set up his laptop in front of it and instead of just seeing his hands, you see his whole from like the chest up and you see his whole face and everything else as he's working on the build. It's a great
That,
improvement.
that dude makes some great stuff, and
Uh,
he's very simplistic. He's like, yeah, here's
yes.
some foam, here's some paint. Let's make
Here's
this, and it's
some
like
nails.
so
Let's
cool.
scratch some
Yeah.
textures in,
Oh,
poke some holes. So,
amazing.
uh, folks that want to follow along that stuff, check out the TikTok because that's gonna be coming out. And then what we'll probably do is you just need to record those, and then once we've got all of them combined, we'll do a YouTube video, which goes into that. And if we want to, we can stream some of that stuff. We just have to set up our phone in such a way that we can stream. Anyway, that's all the stuff we have
Yeah, because
planned.
I've got a new phone, and it's got an amazing camera on it.
Yeah,
Like,
you've
who
got the
needs a
new
camera?
you
I
got the
got an
new
iPhone
iPhone
13.
13, so yeah, you've got
Yeah.
you know,
Who needs a camera anymore, man? I don't. I mean, obviously there are perks to having a real camera, but
chop chop.
it, it's amazing.
Anyway,
Yep.
folks, lots of stuff coming on the pipelines in lots of different places, not just here at not just here at Twitch and not just on YouTube. You want to make sure you follow all the social medias and of course join our Discord. Um, I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about tonight. We're already 25 minutes in.
If you haven't got the demo for the point and click, do
Oh
it.
yeah. Um, go sign up for the newsletter. If you are, no matter where you're watching this, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, anywhere else, go over to the Patreon page. The landing page for the Patreon page has all of the links you're going to need to follow all of our social media as well as sign up to the newsletter and get the point and click demo for free. Play it through, give us some feedback. We've gotten some really good feedback so far. We'd obviously love more. That demo is going to just stay up for the foreseeable future. We don't have any reason to pull it down. It's a great little preview into what we're working on and can show people the kind of work we're doing, which will hopefully inspire more folks to want to subscribe over at the Patreon page. So here's your gentle reminder if you have been following along for the past few months as a individual who likes what we do, consider subscribing. You can get in for as little as $3 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee at some places. And it's a great way to show your support for what we're building here, as well as to just throw some general support for all the free content that we produce on social media, like these streams, which we do in our spare time for free for everybody. And of course, if you want to go whole hog, you can pre-order the game at the $25 tier. You can pre-order the book. You can pre-order the source books. You can pre-order all those things at the various tiers here on Patreon. And follow along for all the different things that we've got coming to the pipeline. And don't forget, we will be doing one more um, read through here next Monday, the 15th, on Twitch at probably 7:30. I'll do 7:30 next week. That way I don't have to go rush back to back to do Star Wars with you. And then the 21st is the current plan to start the tabletop campaign that we're going to be streaming with our friends who are following along and hanging out with us. We've got Simmerg, Nathan Napalm, Sparrow, Bounty Code, you, of course, Joey, and Chris will be joining us at some point. The idea is that we're going to be starting that on the 21st at 9 p.m. Central. So make sure you subscribe here, or follow, I should say. You don't subscribe on Twitch. Follow, not yet anyway. Once we get affiliate status, you will. Follow here on Twitch, and if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get updates. Join our Discord, links are below. Support us on Patreon, and we will see everybody next week.